All right, hi everyone. So welcome to HCAS 143, Human Disease and Drug Pharmacology. I'm going to be your instructor for this course. My name is Gannon Brochin. You can read more about me in my introductory discussion post. And I also have a somewhat short video introducing myself, talking about some of my past experiences, things like that. That's posted in the week one discussion. And ultimately, I hope to read more about you guys in that area. So right off the bat, I do want to start this video as sort of an introduction into Blackboard Ultra as well. This is new for everybody, including me. So what you see right now on the screen, I have this filtered, but you'll see all your other classes here. You'll go ahead and open the course. Now, I do want to preface, my stuff looks a little different compared to yours, but that's because I'm the instructor, so I can see everything all at once, whereas you guys are going to have things date restricted, right? So that you only see what is currently going on when you need it. So when you first open your course, you'll notice we are on the content area. If you look on the upper left portion of the screen right here, this is kind of where all the tabs that used to be on this left-hand side were. You're able to view everything from this spot. So if you want to go to your discussions, those are available here. Your week one discussions, as you'll see, I have a bunch of posts ready to go. There is this introductory video or introductory announcement that I have posted there. So we go back to content. The first thing that I want to point out to everybody is the Welcome Start Here page. You open that up and it will come to what was essentially the Welcome Start Here tab on the old version of Blackboard. You'll see all of the different important documents. You'll see my information, my contact information, the Brighton Stratton IT support information. But one of the most important things to download is that supplemental syllabus, because that kind of outlines my specific policies for the course, and your tracking calendar, which outlines what's due each week, okay? None of this should be new to you guys. Even though Ultra looks different, we've tried to maintain as much items to be similar as possible as we continue on. So once you download the items you need from the Welcome Start Here tab, what you will see when your course starts is you'll see just this week one area. So this tab that's content replaces the old tab that was called weeks. Okay, so every week shows up here. Now, this is essentially that week's tab. So then when you press the little arrow key over here on the bottom right of week one or any other week, it will show you everything that is due for that week. Okay, so for instance, we have our guided one notes, our guided notes lecture. This course does have guided notes, so once you open those, you'll see references to specific pages of the textbooks. And I'll talk more about the textbooks here shortly, but it will help walk you through some of the big picture topics, and a lot of students have told me they find it very valuable. So I would encourage you to print them out and use them, and I specifically say to print them out because of a reason I'll talk about shortly. So one of the other things that has changed is when you go into the discussion now, there's not individual threads, okay? There's just one large discussion here, and if you want to reply to a specific post, you would hit reply at the bottom of that post, and you would type out your reply and hit reply, and see it'll show up like this. The one thing that I ask from everybody, and I'm just going to delete that test response. The one thing I ask from everybody is to not use blue text in any of your posts. All of my posts, I'm going to start out with at least the first line of the post containing blue text. That will help you identify where I've posted my responses to you and your peers, and you'll be able to quickly identify any helpful information. I'm also going to attempt to remember to write the word whole class at the front, especially for anything that pertains to every single person in the course, reminders, things like that, okay? Again, this is something new for all of us, so if I forget that, it's very possible, it's likely going to happen. Just scrolling down here, I've already seen it at least once. See, I already forgot that, but I think the word important is just as important, because that leads us into our next item, our required textbooks. I'm going to be sending an email once everyone's loaded into the course that reminds everybody about these textbooks. Brighton Stratton students often don't need textbooks, but the content of this course is such that it is very in-depth, and with the college's relationship with textbook providers, we don't have the ability to be textbook agnostic in this course. Okay, so what that means is we will have two textbooks. One helps you with pharmacology. The other one is focused on pathophysiology, or just essentially the physiology or the function of disease. Okay, now sometimes students will not purchase the books for a wide variety of reasons. I completely understand. Books are very expensive. Now, because of that, I have this available for you all. Now you'll see this open up because this is my OneDrive. I don't have to sign in. But you will see here, for every week of the course that has new content and readings, you will have access to the readings. Okay? Now, a big thing that I want to point out is when you open these, you can't copy them. I'm trying to copy it. You can't search. So I'm trying to search. No phrase is found. You can't do any of that. And that's the limitation of the publisher. You also cannot download these. Now, I have the option to download, again, because these are my files. I own them. But you as a student will not be allowed to download these because of copyright problems. So you're very limited on the ability to use these PDFs, but they are available, meaning you do not necessarily need to purchase the books. Now, the big asterisk on that is related to the use of the lockdown browser in this course. If you do not purchase the books, you will not have the ability to open those readings, okay? Unless I can get that to work, which I may or may not be able to, but consider for the time being, you will not be able to open those readings. So I would still encourage you to use the textbooks and purchase those. Now, the other thing I want to talk about, building off of that, is the lockdown browser. As you will see, with our switch to Ultra, we have a lot of new tools that help us improve academic integrity and help ensure everyone is learning what they need to learn, especially with the rapid invention of an improvement of AI tools and things like that. Ultimately, you don't have those to take your professional certifications exams, and you're not able to enter HIPAA protected information into AI tools. That is a blatant violation of the law as it is currently written. So because of that, I am going to enforce the use of the lockdown browser for all assignments that is necessary. That's basically any assignment that is a test, a quiz, or anything like that. So what you will see when you open that is you'll get a little reminder that you need the lockdown browser. In fact, let me quickly, we will change this so that I can go into the student mode really quickly and show you what you will be able to see. So I switched to student preview, and I did something wrong. So let me go back. Save 4.8. Sorry about that. Again, this is all new. Some of these settings were very different. So this is what you'll see when you open the course on week 1, right? Just like this. So, and it's not working. There we go. Okay. So what you will see is the requirement for these proctored tests. So when I open the week 1 case study, it will show a link right here saying that you need to respond to this lockdown browser. The first time you open this, I would encourage you to open that link in a new tab. There's a quick little video that's available for you to watch right here that sort of explains what lockdown browser is, but you'll go through the download process and follow all of the prompts. Now, once you have downloaded it, ensure that all of the permissions are provided, things like that, and you can start your attempt. Now, I can't start the attempt because it will actually cancel. It'll force me to turn off this screen recording software. Okay, but basically, there's another link to download and install it here as well. But once it opens up, it's going to basically tell you, okay, you have all these different programs open that need to be closed. Tell Respondus Lockdown Browser that you want to close those. You will not be allowed to start the assessment without closing those programs. They must be closed and the lockdown browser must be running. So once you have that running, it will open it straight up from these links, whether you're using Firefox, Google Chrome, Edge, or Safari. It doesn't matter. You still have to use the lockdown browser, okay? So that is a big important change, and it is something that I will be requiring to be used. Now, this also means that you cannot use a phone, as far as I'm aware, to complete these assignments. But as a reminder, Bryant Stratton College does have technology requirements for the online school, and that includes having a computer that meets certain requirements. Now, with the Respondus Lockdown Browser as well, if you need accessibility tools, they are available in that browser, and they're available just like they would be in any other common mainstream browser, okay? So if you need to increase the text size, if you need screen reading, anything like that, that is all available in the browser and will be available to you. Also, you'll find that some of our courses or some of our assignments may be related to some basic math associated with dosage calculations, right? It's very straightforward stuff, and there will be a calculator available for every assignment in the course within the lockdown browser. So you do not need a physical one. It will be available on the computer, and it's a scientific calculator as well. So you have all of the common things that would be needed. In fact, a scientific calculator is well beyond what is needed in this course, as everything, 95% of it is basic addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, and there's maybe 2 questions that involve introductory level algebra in the sense of moving numbers from one side of an equation to another, right? There's no advanced math, nothing like that. It's very straightforward, and most of you will have either met the mathematics requirements or have taken a math course at Bryant Stratton. That course would have been more in depth than what you'll be expected to do here by far, okay? So that's really a lot of the big differences with Ultra so far for this course. And I wanted to talk about all of this stuff up front. Another thing too, when you come in, you'll have your gradebook tab. This will show up just like it did in the previous one. You also have your announcements tab. Now, one of the things that I do dislike is that the announcements aren't like they used to be, where they were all fully out. But you do get a notification every time you open the course when there's a new announcement, which is amazing. It pops up and it lets you view it. If you need to see the announcement again, though, you can come to this announcement tab, click on the name of the announcement, and here it is. This is the introductory announcement that you'll see when you're in the course. And here's my old video that I'm working on replacing right now, okay? So I also have some supplemental lecture content in there. There's a supplemental anatomy and physiology playlist that I use when I teach A&P. And other than that, ultimately that's that. Now, as we are here, I'm also going to now talk about the actual course. So HCAS 143 is all about being able to read and understand what is in the medical record, right? So this course is all about teaching you what common medical conditions and the information that will be documented with them. So that's like symptoms, how the patient's presenting. It's going to be treatments for those conditions, because ultimately as a coder, the first step to being able to code is to understand what the medical record says. Coding is essentially a job of translating the medical record that's written in the medical language into the language of the coding, right? That's your ICD-10 or soon to be 11, your CPT codes, and the other coding languages that are out there. Understanding what it is that first step. Okay, so that's what this course is all about. I encourage you every week, take a quick review of your healthcare terminology notes as well as your anatomy and physiology notes. Those things will very much be needed because this course builds on that. We will not be going back to that, but you may have questions that could be answered from those courses as a sort of review. In fact, in the guided notes, you will see items that are review because they are intentionally put in there to help you review. Okay? So, really, that's what this course is all about. And for me personally, how I like to run 143, you can obviously read through my introductory discussion posts, or you can keep watching the video at this point, but I'm just going to go over that from this point on. So, a big thing that students always talk about is the late policy. I am very forgiving with the late policy, with one big stipulation. I expect communication, okay? So that means that if you've had something happen, you've had an emergency, and you suddenly have to leave town and it's Thursday or Friday, send me an email, right? It takes 5 seconds to say just, hey, Dr. B, I had something come up. I have to leave town. I'm going to need a few extra days. I'm very happy to give you an extra 24, 48 hours, right? What I will not do, though, is, with each week due Saturday, you email me the Wednesday after things are due and say, oh, I had this happen. Can I have some extra time? No, I will not give extra time in that situation, okay? Like I said, it takes just a couple seconds to send an email, and I don't even expect a reason, right? We're all adults here. I'm an adult. I know things come up. I have other students that I work with in my main job every day. I have, other people that I work with. I know things come up. I don't expect doctor notes. I don't expect any real reason. I'm perfectly happy for you to just say, you know what? I'm tired and I need an extra day. I'm going to email Dr. B and just say I need the extra day, right? That's all I need. I don't need, a whole essay written about this, that, or the other thing. I'm perfectly happy to work with you. Just it has to be up front. Does that make sense? So send me that email. And on top of that, this course has a lot of content. As you will see, we have textbooks. We have a lot of reading every week. You do need to start the week early, okay? So I also, won't look too fondly on it if it is Saturday night at 10 p.m. and I get an email at the absolute last minute and, it's, I need extra time, but you haven't even logged in for the entire week yet, right? That's, being a student is almost like having a job. In fact, it sort of is having a job. And there's, in a way, being a professional student means you're going into your course, you're reviewing what needs to be done for the week, you're downloading the assignments that need to be downloaded, you're downloading your lecture, you're downloading the guided notes, right? You're doing that early in the week and you're working through it because you have it all available to you, okay? So again, please, I'm more than happy to work with you, but it's always within reason, and it's always, always, always with preemptive communication, okay? I will never provide an extension for someone who's emailing me days after an assignment is due asking for more time. It just won't happen, okay? Because ultimately you have 7 days leading up to the assignment due date to ask for that extra time, especially if there's any chance that you're going to need it, okay? And in general, if you get that if you need that extra time, I'll provide you 2 days extra, and that should be enough. Now, if there's extremely extenuating circumstances, I'm more than happy to address those individually. But in general, I'll give you up to 2 days when you need an extension. Also, talking about discussions. In fact, I can go ahead and kind of display that thread here. discussions. Where's that at? Somewhere around here. There we go. Discussions. As a reminder, our discussion forum looks different now, but it still functions the same. You're expected to make your initial post, and in my courses, you have to post first before you can see anybody else's discussion posts. That means your initial post has to be completed in order to make your replies and have any days of participation, okay? It's like that for every week except for week 1. When we're talking about replies, I'm expecting you to have a several sentence reply. I expect them to be substantive and contribute towards the learning of everyone that might be reading it, right? So I always encourage you to do things like compare and contrast, especially if you posted about, in this case, the same condition as somebody else. Maybe they had a piece of information that you didn't, or you had a piece of information that they didn't. Bring that up and say, oh, this piece of information was great, or, hey, what do you think about this that I talked about in my post for this condition? You can also do things like ask an extra question. Maybe it's a condition you've never heard of. So you're going to say, hey, what does this actually mean? Or something like that, right? We're looking for 3 to 4 sentences for your replies to be very good. And, your typical, we want 3 different days of participation during the week, okay? And same thing with the replies. They must be during the week to receive credit, all right? So really, that's everything for this course. Like I said, the first part of the video was a quick run through of where everything's at inside of Ultra, since Ultra is relatively new for a lot of people. And again, it's new for me as well. And so if you find things that aren't necessarily working right, please let me know, because we have a whole team at Bryan Stratton that this is new for. And so we have processes in place to ensure that, ultimately the framework that each course is built on is correct for every student across every section. And if something is broken in our course, it's probably broken in another, which means that it needs to be brought up to not just all of us instructors, but it needs to be brought forward to the people that build these frameworks, the people that are involved in the course design for Blackboard at Bryan Stratton and with Blackboard, right? So if you find things that are broken, not working, please let me know, especially, again, this is all, Blackboard Ultra is very new. And so we're more than happy to look into it. Like I said, luckily we do have the student preview mode where I'm able to troubleshoot things if you're having issues as well, okay? If there's anything that you guys need pertaining to how to do certain things in Ultra, please post that in the Ask Your Instructor forum as well. I'd be more than happy to either provide a quick text-based guide or a quick video showing how to do those things as well. All right. So that's really everything that I have for this introduction. And if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to send me an email. You can also message me, or it's really the same as texting. You can message or text me on Microsoft Teams, or you can, again, ask any generalized questions in the Ask Your Instructor forum. And ultimately, I hope we all have a good session. And I look forward to reading about you guys in your introduction post in the week 1 discussion.